Hello and welcome back. This is the Butter Churn podcast. I'm Butters. And we are coming to you live today with the Butter Churn podcast, Ep.7 of Random Stuff and Things, because we are not prepared. Well, I'm not prepared.
Neither am I.
Is it worth being prepared, though? Might be.
Maybe not.
No, it all depends on what we're preparing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You never know what you're going to need, what you're going to say, or anything like that. It can definitely be a rough, especially with
we have a lot of awkwardness.
A lot of awkwardness. Like we gotta get over our awkwardness and our silent pauses and long pauses and just all of it. But we'll slowly get there.
We'll get better every time.
Every single time. And we'll be to where you can't stop us. We'll get a rolling and a rolling and a rolling and a rolling. So, what do you have for us today that we can talk about? Let's start with you.
The $1.25 Dollar Tree.
$1.
How do you feel about that?
You know, I don't go to the Dollar Tree very often. So, it's like, it's not bad that it's $1.25 Dollar Tree. They should change the name, but they probably won't.
Yeah, probably not.
Everything's still kind of a Dollar Tree thing. At least it's not like the 99-cent store.
Well, I wish we had one of those around here, or where we live.
I won't, if I opened me a store, I would do one of the Japanese dollar stores. I forget.
Oh, that would be awesome. They have some really cool products.
I forget what they're called, but I would really love to open one of those because you get some unique stuff in there.
Well, for the most part, people are upset about this $1.25, and they think they should change their name. They promise it's not going to go above $1.25, but that's we'll have to wait and see.
That's a lie because of taxes and stuff.
Yeah.
Always, the taxes will get you no matter what.
You can't go in there anymore and get $100 items for $100 anymore.
I mean, no, you can't, sadly. But there's like Five Below. They got
so
stuff.
True.
They've got stuff in there that's like $10 or $8.
Well, the Dollar Tree has a Dollar Tree Plus section, which everything is above like $3 and up.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So they have that little section.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So when did they start doing that?
The Dollar Store Plus or the Dollar Tree Plus thing?
Yeah.
Sometime, I think it was in 2020 or maybe last year sometime.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't go there often, so I don't pay much attention to it. Because it's...
I don't go there often either. It's just kind of out of the way. But I would go there often if it was more convenient.
Yeah, if they had a bed, like a shopper, do your own shopping thing and then brings it out to you type of thing.
Yeah.
Or wasn't so far away.
Because they have some sections in there that have really like stepped up their game. Like they're really good. Like their party section, their craft section, their makeup section. They've gotten really big. They've gotten really good. And so I think I should go there more. I just don't ever think of it as the place to go.
Yeah. I mean, you can get some good snacks there sometimes.
Yeah.
Depending on which one you go to.
If you go to the movies, you always got to hit the Dollar Tree first to get all the stuff.
No. You can't be saying that and taking your own snacks into the movies.
That's right. You're not supposed to do that. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. You're supposed to go hungry and thirsty for 2 hours and 3 hours. Or have a nice date pay for it. That's how it's supposed to roll. If you have
I was thinking... Oh, sorry.
All I was going to say, if you have a nice date, it'd be worth it.
It would be worth it, yeah. Speaking of dates, I was thinking the other day, because I just haven't been on one in so long. I thought I'm just gonna go on Facebook and be like, somebody take me out for a date. Just put it on my wall because I haven't been on a date in forever.
We should totally plan to go someplace. Maybe
I
a
just don't want
luncheon.
anybody to. I don't want anybody to expect anything if we go on a date.
Well, that's why you take me. I won't expect anything except for you to drive. You drive, I'll pay. That's how it works.
Yeah, yeah. You've been on a date recently, haven't you?
I have been. Well, sorta. I go on dates with friends, and then I go with my old man. Uh, but usually that's just going out to eat and stuff.
I don't know what else you do on dates besides to go out to eat. I mean, at least where we live, we don't have a lot of options on things to do.
We don't, which is sad.
Yeah.
Like, if we had more options. Though we do live not too far from other towns that have stuff, so there's that. If you have, like, a good car and stuff. And you want to drive and risk it.
Risk it for the biscuit.
Risk it for the biscuit. I was, like, I was always paranoid about going on dates and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Where I was broke and stuff, I didn't have money, and I was afraid that if I went on a date and someone just abandoned me and left without me, like how would I get home? What
That
would
is
I
scary. That's a
do?
scary thought.
Especially if we went out of town. Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I was so worried about that. That's one reason I was a shut-in for all my life.
I know it's not the same, but for me, I always have to drive separate. I don't want to go. I know you can't yet, but
Yeah.
it's always a good idea to drive separate, just in case.
Just in case you don't like them, or it turns
Yeah.
awkward, or you get kidnapped.
And be really nice to your waiter, so they might be able to help you get out of a bad date, so you can just sneak out the door.
Like, help me with this. Help me. Oh, my first ever date was ruined for me.
Why?
Well, it was with a boy. And it was also the same time my brother decided to out me that I was going on a date with a boy.
Oh.
This was before I came out, so I was forced into my outing. And then not only did it become awkward for me, but my granny, she had to meet the guy first.
Oh no.
Yes, she had to come in, meet him and everything. And then after we got out, she sent my brother to stand outside the movie theater and wait for me.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry.
It was an awkward date because he took us to a movie so we could talk during the movie. Because he had already seen the movie, and I was like, I was still awkward and shy and weird and stuff. So I didn't do much talk. It was just horrible. It was just horrible. It was a weird. It was very, very awkward and horrible. Did you ever have an awkward date or anything like that?
Well, I did have one to a school dance freshman year of high school, and I had to choose between being a good friend or a good date, and I chose being a good friend, so it kind of ruined the date.
Ooh, why'd you have to make such a decision?
Because one of my friends broke up with her boyfriend, and she was crying in the bathroom, and I was like, I just told my dad, I was like, I gotta go check on her, and he's like, let's go dance, and I was like, I gotta go check on her. Do I even talk to that girl anymore? No. I don't talk to him anymore either. So.
Oh, that's how it usually works.
Yeah.
And then my second time I went on a date, my granny had to get the phone number, where he lived, what's his name, and all that information from him himself. It was so awkward.
I guess that's what happens when you have to live with other people.
It is, especially when you're 20 or 18. You expect, a little privacy, but completely awkward.
Mm-hmm.
I am a princess, apparently.
They just want to make sure that if you go missing, they have all this information.
For the longest time, I couldn't have anybody in my room without like 1,000 questions. And the first question would be, are they gay? Are they straight? Like, that was the question that had to be answered first.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And that's why I never invited people over, because it's like, be like, no, they're straight. No, they don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. No. It was completely awkward.
Is it still that way?
It's not as bad. It's not as bad as it used to. I'm allowed to have one boy in my room. Yay. And I get privacy, so that's good. For those who don't know, I am the youngest sibling of 2. And I am more of the girl, like the sister, because of my personality, and I'm the baby. I'm still treated as the baby sometimes.
And I'm a middle child.
You must have had
I get ignored.
then. You must have had free reign then, didn't you?
Yeah, I just kind of get ignored.
Get ignored. No one notices it if you go missing or anything.
Yeah. They'd notice if I went missing and once they needed something from me.
That had to suck though.
Yeah.
But
well, you said you have an old man. How long y'all been together?
9 years.
Wow.
9 years we've been together, and we're an old couple. We don't, and one of the oddest parts of the relationship is we don't live together, and we've been together for 9 years. And people,
you guys do act like an old married couple, that's for sure.
We do act like an old married couple. But people don't understand why we don't live together and stuff. I'm like, well, it's complicated.
Yeah.
Family stuff happens, and
maybe one day.
He was a bachelor for 20 years, so he doesn't know how to deal with people in his space. Like right now, his mother's living with him because she has dementia, Alzheimer's. Which, that aside, she's getting on his nerves, and he can't stand it. He can't stand having someone living with him.
And plus, his house got a lot more crowded with all the stuff he got from her house.
It did. But he's trying to figure out what to do with it and where it all goes and all that fun stuff.
So I can see how that gets. It could be real easy to get that get on your nerves.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of those people. I like my own space too. Although sometimes it's nice to be alone together.
It is. But like with her though, she packs stuff up and puts it like outside, or she acts like she's moving. She's not. She's there, but she's not. Like, to him, his mother's dead. His mother's not the same as she used to be. So she's not there anymore. So he's already kind of putting her in the ground already. And he tries to fight with the poor thing, and it's just awful.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's one of these people that like to play fight.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll pick on you and stuff like that. And he tries it with her, and she gets upset, and she's not like she used to be. And that upsets him and all sorts of stuff.
It's going to be hard when your parent is in that kind of situation.
Especially with any kind of health situation. But that one's kind of one of the worst ones, because you like cancer, dementia, Alzheimer's, and some other ones would have to be the worst, because you have to watch them slowly go down.
Yeah. And
there's nothing you can really do about it, unless you decided to take a pillowcase. Help them. Though, that reminds me, what is your thoughts on the assisted suicide?
You mean voluntary euthanasia?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Voluntary euthanasia or assisted suicide. As some places,
I understand why it's a thing. I really do.
Some places,
but I don't know if I could. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I don't know if I could tell somebody, "Hey, let's end this." I mean, I could say it, but probably I don't know if I could or not.
Yeah. Well, have you seen the capsules that what they look like and stuff.
Yes, I have. I saw they did a little news thing on it.
Like the whole point. I get the whole point, but and I see how it's needed. I really do.
Yeah.
But that's a hard decision, not only for someone to make, but to help someone make. Like,
Yeah, and you can't take it back.
no, you can't. Like, especially like if they change their mind last minute. But that's the thing with these capsules and stuff. Before it activates, the person has to be sure because it's only controlled by the person inside of them. So if the person presses a button or clicks yes or blinks their eyes, it goes off and they go to sleep.
Have you ever seen the movie Me Before You or read the book?
I have not.
It's kind of got that in it at the. I don't know. I don't want to like spoil it for anybody, but it was really hard to watch that movie because they do that in that movie.
And be awkward.
In the book, yeah. Spoiler alert. Probably should have said that first.
But yeah, that's definitely a hard thing to do. And I think I want to say Sweden or the Netherlands.
Yeah, I think it is Sweden.
One of those countries has made it legal. Or
yeah, just recently, yeah.
And it's just one of those odd things that needs to be talked about, but not, needs to be brought up. Be like, hey, this is an option now. So would you want to, do it? Type of thing.
It's kind of like whenever so you're in the hospital and somebody chooses to pull the plug or you turn off the machines or whatever.
Yeah.
Except you're doing it yourself, and I can definitely, like you said earlier, definitely can see why you'd want to do it or that it is a thing. It's probably nice to have it as an option, especially if you get to the end of your life and you're alone. Like maybe you're the only one in your family left.
Yeah.
And you're deteriorating, and I could see that being a thing.
Or like one of the main reasons for it is for people who are locked in their bodies. So their brain and stuff's completely fine. They just have no mobility, no nothing, anything like that. And so it's option to be like, let them choose if they want to, or because let them determine how they want to live. It's definitely a choice.
Yeah. So last week we talked about New Year's resolutions. How are yours coming along?
They are going. I still haven't started exercising. Sugar's still a problem because of coffee. All hell coffee. How are yours coming along?
They're okay. I mean, I have gotten to exercise, doing a little bit every day, or trying to every day. I think I've just got a really bad relationship with food overall. I think that probably needs to be dealt with a little bit first, but I'm trying.
Have you thought about doing that one? It's like I wouldn't say it's like a diet, but it goes to the psychology behind why you eat and stuff.
The Noom, is that what it is?
Maybe, I think.
No, I don't know how much that costs, And my therapist, she's trying to help me a little bit because it's just been all my life I've had just a weird relationship with food, and sometimes it's been really bad.
Yeah.
And I'm working on my podcasts, every week, so that's going good.
Well, that's good.
I haven't started reaching out on any other social medias though. Like, I'm not really big on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok.
Got to build those up. It's like I'm trying to build up Twitter and Instagram. I don't think I'm going to do TikTok because I'm not good at TikTok.
Yeah, I just don't know if I can sit there and dance or something with people.
Well, you can lip sync to stuff. You never know.
Yeah. It does seem like they're having a lot of fun when they do them, these dances and those little videos.
They do, but it also takes a lot of time to do those.
Yeah, I'd have to step up my editing game if I was going to do that first.
Yeah. It takes a lot and some of them have like 2 phones that they use. How crazy is that?
That is crazy.
So
but yeah, to reach more people for this podcast and my other one, just trying to do that. I guess it's something we really do need to do.
Yeah. Get it out there more, do more outreach and do stuff like that. Be like, hey, I do this podcast. Maybe you can give it a listen. Tell us what you think. Um, find us here, here, and here. Getting better at that is definitely some things we need to work on. I mean, I know I need to work on because I'm not very good. I say we, but that's just me generally talking for myself.
No, I need to too.
Like being more productive, being like, hey, let's go get it. Let's get this done. Just really reaching out and doing some things. And I need to be more progressive in getting moving forward and stuff. If anyone has any ideas on how to do it, feel free to comment below and tell us all your thoughts and opinions.
Yep, love to know.
This being, if you're seeing this on YouTube, you can comment below. And if not, you can go to our Facebook page, the Butter Churn Podcast, and find us there and leave a comment or whatnot.
Or to our Patreon.
Or on our Patreon as well. Exactly.
And on our Patreon, you'll find a bonus episode from last week.
Yes. We are starting to do bonus episodes for our Patreons at our tier 3 subscribers. So let us know. Hopefully we'll see you there. But speaking back to death, because why not make this a cheery episode?
Yeah.
So, how many new ways to get buried do you think there is?
I don't know. How many are there?
I mean, they're coming up with new ways of doing things, and it's...
I don't know. I have every plan or every intention of donating my body to science. They probably won't want it, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I mean, you can go to the body farm, donate it to science. Yeah. That's 2 ways to do it. But then again, you'd be like, well, my body's going to be... If I donate it to the body farm, my body's going to be left out in the sun naked for days.
Or blown up or shot or something.
Yeah. And be like, well, what's it going to do then?
Well, I won't be there, so it'll be okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I got an article here.
The funerals are so expensive. It's ridiculous.
They are.
I see probably a lot more people doing something like donating their body or cremation because funerals are just so expensive. It shouldn't be like that.
But it's not the most expensive one there is.
What's the most expensive?
Well, you have Cryonics, which is being frozen and brought back. People
supposedly Walt Disney is frozen.
Yeah. People are wanting to do that. And
I wonder if that's really a thing. Is that really something you can do? I mean, sure, you can freeze your body, but can they really bring you back?
Well, who knows? It could be like a Dr. Frankenstein kind of thing. But here's the thing: that there's a company that will charge high as $200,000, and that's a payment plan for a whole body preservation.
Wow!
But if you want to cut the cost in half, to say you can get your head only preserved for about $80,000.
I saw that episode of The Golden Girls where they froze their heads.
But that's not, surprisingly, that's not the highest. Can you think of something that would be higher than that?
Higher than the cryogenics one?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, taxidermy? I don't know.
Or maybe, well, no, it's a little cheaper. It looks like it might be a little cheaper.
What is it?
It's space burial. That's the one I would want to do.
Oh, yeah. I read about that somewhere. They're going to try to do that. Just floating out there in the atmosphere.
Like, the high cost of it, it's a high cost. And they only do like 1 to 7 grams of remains are launched. So, I don't know if it'd be super practical, but some flights they do are where the remains are experience
Uh huh.
zero gravity and return to the earth for only like $1,000. Like they can be put in low orbit, or you can be put in the atmosphere and burn up on your way re-entry for 3,000. Or love, or if you're really dedicated like I would be, you can be launched to the moon or into deep space for 10 or $12,500.
Wow. That's not for that. It don't actually seem that expensive for that.
It doesn't. I would love to be shot into deep space. Just
That would be neat.
just my body just going constantly until I hit it, until I'm hit by asteroids or gravity pulls me into a planet, and then the organisms from my dead body start to slowly evolve on the planet to creatures over years. And
Or maybe the aliens will find you and they'll bring you back to life.
that's always a possibility. That's
Or maybe
always
they'll
a
find you and you'll be on
possibility.
the alien body farm.
I mean, I would be down for it to be studied by aliens. Oh, I always wanted to go into deep space. Okay, that's two ways to die. And then there's eternal reefs, which are nice.
What's that?
They take your remains after you've been cremated or such, or the flesh has been eaten from your bones, and they make reefs for artificial reefs
Oh,
to help the ocean and stuff.
wow. Who knew there's this many ways to get buried? Or, to take care of your body once you're
Yeah.
dead.
And to think you could be a part of an ocean that is preserved and helps the planet just because you made an artificial reef. And then it's called Resomation,
Mm-hmm.
which is I think that's how you say it. It's Resomation. Resomation. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
sounds
say.
right to me.
Um, Art is also known as biocremation. This process uses water and potassium hydroxide to liquefy the body, leaving only the bones, and then the bones are pulverized in the regular cremation, and the bone fragments are returned to the family.
Huh.
So if you're wanting to get cremated, but you don't want to feel the wrath of hell upon your body in flames, you could get it dissolved. Because I know my granny, she never wanted to be cremated because she didn't want to. She didn't want the flames. It was the
Yeah.
flames. But that's one way. That's another way to get buried.
Of course, there's regular cremation and regular burial and
Then
mausoleum burial
there's natural burial.
where you don't have a box. It's just you. Is that what that is?
Uh, it's without embalming and without concrete vaults. The bodies are wrapped in a shroud and placed in a biodegradable casket. The idea being that they will decompose naturally.
Compost your body.
Then there's always mummification. Get mummified.
That's still a thing.
No, but the price of human mummification starts at $63,000, and
Well,
it will help. The hope is to help preserve DNA for future scientists to clone them and give them, or at least their genes, a second short life. And then there's plastination.
I guess that's something to do with plastic.
It's a form of preserving the body in a semi-recognizable form.
Okay.
It's mostly used in medical schools and anatomy labs to preserve organs, specimens for education.
Oh, so they can dissect you.
Yeah. Well, that and you can be. It's like being put in a bottle of formaldehyde where
Yeah.
everything just freezes.
Interesting. How much does that one cost?
That one doesn't have a price. I'm guessing for
Oh,
that one, like if you donated your body to science, you could have different parts plasticized, so you could stay like that forever and ever,
Eva?
ever, ever. And then there's one more, and that is freeze drying.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Its eco burial stage is called Prosciutto or, or freeze drying. It was invented by a Swedish marine biologist, which involves immersing the corpse in liquid nitrogen, which makes it very brittle. Shake the body apart, and the water is evaporated away from the Vulcan chamber. That sounds interesting.
It does.
And the remains are put in a shallow grave.
Hmm.
And that is so that the oxygen and water can mix with the powdered remains, turning it into
Uh-huh.
compost.
Well, that is interesting. All of that was interesting.
Like, I would be all for space, though. Getting shot
Yeah,
up into space. Oh,
that sounds really cool.
either that or just let my body be ejected through a spaceship towards Earth and just come barreling through the atmosphere all naked and stuff, burning up. Be like, I'm coming for your world. One last skydive. Oh, just freak everyone out. Ah, oh, look, it's a shining star. Ah. I would hope I would burn up on entry.
Well, since we're being all cheery and everything, do you think we're headed for another lockdown? Because we're having issues all over the world with staffing, like teachers, nurses and doctors are being forced to work with COVID. Restaurants and grocery stores are having staffing issues. Do you think we'll be in a forced lockdown, or do you think it'll just? I don't know. If there's nobody to work, what do you do? Because did you see where they've closed one of our schools for they closed it for like 2 days because there wasn't
Enough
enough
teachers.
teachers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. And with things getting how bad they are, it could be even worse. Especially with no one wanting to work and stuff.
it's like it's never going to end. Which they say now it's not a pandemic anymore; it's an endemic, which means it's just here to stay, like the flu or pneumonia.
Yeah. It might be. It might be another one of those things we just have to get used to.
Yeah, yeah, they are making nurses and doctors work with it. They have to go to work with COVID and work because the hospitals are so overcrowded. And I was at a restaurant today, and they had a sign up saying that they're short staffed. And I saw on the news that like all the grocery stores are short staffed. If there's nobody to work, I just don't see how we can have how does the economy run?
Yeah. It's getting pretty difficult. If it gets any worse, we might be headed toward another lockdown. Or at least a partial one at that.
Yeah, it would be nice if they would come out and be like, "Hey, this is our plan."
Yeah, having
That
a
way we
plan.
have to. Yeah.
Having a plan would be nice.
Yes, it would.
I found some more interesting ways to be buried.
Oh, good.
I know, I'm doing so well. This episode's about death. Thank you, death. Um, did you mention the tree planting burials?
I did not, but that one is interesting too. That's one I actually considered myself.
Okay, so there's two type of tree ones. There's tree burials, where you're buried in a tree, and
Uh
then
huh.
there's tree planting, where your remains are used for the seed of a tree, and it grows up to be a tree.
That's the one I'd like to do if I got to choose. I would want to be made into a willow. That's my favorite tree.
And there is also aquamation. So another alternative to being burned in cremation is to be put in water and decomposed that way. So you don't have to deal with the fiery aspect.
I think a lot of serial killers choose that method for their victims.
I mean, yeah. If you can get a nice river strong enough.
Yeah.
And then, so there's promation, which is an eco-friendly method where your body is transformed into fertilizer and turned in by being turned by liquid. Your body's frozen with liquid nitrogen turned to power and do it that way. There's dissolution, which involves strong chemicals. And then there's exposure, or it is also known as a sky burial.
What, does that where they draw, like you parachute out of a plane?
No, that's where your body is left on an open rock. Like it's common in Tibet and stuff. Your body is open up on an open rock and left for creatures to eat.
Lovely.
But there's another one that I like, and that is memorial diamonds.
Ooh.
You can get ashes turned into diamonds.
Fancy.
Or jewelry. Can you imagine finding an antique, like 50 years from now, finding an old antique ring and it's someone's dead husband? Like, this is Fred. I don't know him personally, but we've gotten along these past few years. Like, that would be so... Like, that's another way to collect bodies. Just be like, oh yes, I get people turned in... I go to cremations places where people are left unwanted and stuff, and I collect their cremations and turn them into jewelry. And I wear them.
There's probably somebody out there that would do that. There's somebody out there for everything.
There is. Okay, and then you could get your ashes made into a painting. Your ashes get mixed in with paint and then painted, poured, any kind of painting that you want, and have that start like you could start like an art gallery of donated art that's made with people's ashes and turn it into like a memorial place for people. You know how weird that would be?
It'd be super weird.
Like this like be like, this is my husband, and it's just a picture of like a goldfish or something like that, so they could visit and stuff. Though it would be neat though.
It would, yeah.
Because then you'd be like, gotta get that government funding, people. This is memorial. This is where a lot of dead bodies are. You can also get turned into a firework. Would you want to be turned into a firework?
I don't think I would.
You wouldn't want to have one final bang?
No.
just I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who would.
Yeah, me too. I bet there is.
And then lastly, there's one called vinyl compression. It allows your ashes to be compressed into a vinyl record of your favorite tune, so you can leave a voice message. Like you could,
because I definitely didn't think that's where that one was going, but I'm glad that's where it went. Because if it went to where I was at in my mind, it'd been really creepy.
Where was you going?
Well, I was just thinking compressing the body, not ashes.
Like just being like those videos on Facebook of products being squeezed by that little foot, and just
that would
be interesting. But
you know what, you could that firework one, you should actually be a marketer for that. Because they'll use that, they'll be like, "Hey, you want to have one last bang?" That would be hilarious, and people would love that.
I mean, gotta do it. Well, see, that's the thing. You can, with the vinyl compression, you could get it made after you die, and say this was made with human remains, and then it's got your favorite song on it, and you could pick the most annoying song there is,
Oh, that would be awful.
or just a sound, a constant sound. Every time when they first play it, you're like, darn it. You could put like "Bird's the Word," bird, 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 bird's the word, bird, bird,
Or
bird,
Baby
bird,
Shark.
and just be like, "Yep, that's me."
That's basically saying screw you to whoever gets the vinyl record. Like, give it to your enemy.
But
This is for you. I want you to listen to it every day.
imagine having a music, like being a DJ or having a music store where all your records and stuff are dead people.
Our people.
Like, this one's Ashley tonight. Get ready for Ashley. It would be so weird.
It would.
But definitely interesting. And then there's that mushroom burial. You could get your dead body turned into mushrooms.
I wonder what kind of mushrooms.
I don't know. You can probably pick.
Surely they wouldn't be able to eat those mushrooms if they came from your body. If it came from a human body.
I don't know if you can make them the species spicy mushrooms and sell them. You know, like this brand is Jonathan. He was a little species spicy, and when you eat it, you'll see rainbows and glitter.
So any more death?
I'm looking. I'm trying to find ones I haven't seen already.
Well, getting off the death subject for a moment, you know that Twilight is making a comeback. Thanks to Netflix and Peacock.
Why?
Yes, it is, and I love it. Do you say why?
Yes, why?
Because they just put it on. They just put it on Netflix, and they just put it on Peacock, and like the new generation, and plus, Twi moms are also into it still. That would be me if I had a kid, but just me. Anyway, yeah, they're just trying to get back into it, and it's become a big thing again. Isn't that awesome? Yes, it is, Leslie. Yes.
I wasn't too much into Twilight. I mean, it's alright.
I love Twilight.
I was more into Emmett and Jacob, but,
Yeah.
Cute guys are kind of my thing.
Especially, the werewolves. They never wore shirts, so there's that.
Why did they never wear shirts?
I don't know.
Is it because they were hot all the time? They had that internal temperature and whatnot?
I guess so.
I mean, I wouldn't mind being mauled by a werewolf. Especially if he looked like... Oh, I just said his name.
Jacob,
yes. Isn't there supposed to be another one?
Well, another book came out, the one that's from Edward's perspective. It's called Midnight Sun. So there's that new one that came out last year.
Have you read that one yet?
I have it, but I haven't read it yet.
Oh.
Did I get it as soon as it came out? Yes, I did. Actually, I pre-ordered it, so I don't ever pre-order anything. I think I'm going to reread Twilight first and then get it.
That's always good. We need to start a book club.
I would love that.
That would force me to read.
Maybe
or you could read the book to me.
Podcast going.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we could.
You could read the book to me, and we would read it together.
We'll just do books based on movies. So if you miss it that week, you can just go watch the movie and catch up.
Yeah, but then you would know I just watched the movie and be like, that's not how it really went. In chapter 2 of 3, he did this and this, not that. But I need a reason to read more books.
Yeah. Everybody needs more reasons to read more books.
Books are power. and they can help
They
our
are.
brain
And they're
grow.
also, I mean, for book lovers, they're not dying, but for like, people, it's kind of a dying thing to hold a real book in your hand, unless you're a book lover.
Yeah. Now, how do
But
you
unless you're,
make love to the book? Do
well,
you slowly
just squeeze
caress
it,
its spine and tell
yeah,
it it's beautiful?
and open it up to the exact middle point. That's the best place to get it.
Ooh,
Pick up its dust jacket, of course.
gotta get those dust jackets.
Hey, did you see where they redid the M&M so they're not so sexy anymore?
I did. What's your thought on that?
I think it's stupid. I mean, who thought they were sexy to begin with? That's what I want to know. Where is that person who thought that? I want to know.
Probably some straight guy.
Probably. I
Though,
mean, can you imagine?
they're like totally changing the M&Ms because used to brown and green, I think, used to have a nut, and then they changed it. And they used to be boys. And then they changed to girls.
Well, green is like they took away all her sex appeal and put her in a pair of like Keds, and the brown one they just shortened her heels. But is that a fantasy somewhere? Is there like a fan page for that? Because I need to meet these people. And then
Maybe
again, maybe I don't want to meet these people.
maybe they're transgendered lesbian lovers.
Well, this supposed to be more inclusive, so maybe. And I guess there is a kink out there for everybody.
I
Do you?
mean,
Don't tell me about it, but do you?
but maybe tell us about it so we can talk about it.
Yeah. I'm just imagining the guy that's sitting on the couch and that comes on the news and he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that. He's so mad.
oh, so I seen this on TikTok and I meant to ask, are you prepared for the fights that are going to occur over ice cream this year?
Are you talking about because of Little Debbie?
Yes.
I'm not. And I didn't even get to try the Christmas tree one, and I think all the rest of them are going to be just as bad. You're never going to be able to find them.
What is it, like Nutty Buddy,
Honey
strawberry
bun.
swirls? It's like all those snack cakes.
Yeah.
If I find one, I'm getting it and I'm bringing it to your house. Be like, here, try this.
Yeah, if I find one, yeah, you better believe I'm getting it.
Though I'm really just interested in the Nutty Buddies, to be honest.
I kind of want to try the honey bun one.
Well, the Honey Bun and the Nutty Buddy would seem are my two favorites. So those I would be more apt to try. I'm not a big fan of the other ones so much.
I wish they would keep making that Christmas tree one and make it more available.
Yeah.
I read Walmart that they only sent Walmart, or certain Walmarts, they only sent them 2 pints at a time. That's all they sent them. That's why it was in such short supply.
Really now?
Yeah,
That's odd.
it is.
Maybe it was for testers.
Maybe, I guess it went really well since they're going to be doing all the other flavors.
Because I know if I was doing samples, I would have probably ended up testing it and sampling it out if they had it in stock.
Too bad you weren't still doing, things for that.
I know. I really liked it. They wanted me to get my alcohol license so I could sample alcohol.
Uh-huh.
But things got messed up and I couldn't do it and they never fixed it. So I don't know what's going on.
Aldi's got in trouble this week for rancid alcohol, both beer and wine. They could have killed somebody.
Really?
So, yeah. I don't know what happens to beer and wine whenever it goes rancid. What makes it rancid? I don't know.
It's because it decays and it rots because it's like certain temperatures, or if it's not sealed properly, stored properly, it can really mess it up.
Really?
Yeah. Because you got to think beer and stuff is yeast and
Yeah.
sugars and
Well, I know that beer,
Multi-million.
they call it green beer after a while. That can go flat, and then they call it green beer. I just don't know. Yeah, I just don't know enough about it to be like, yeah, that beer's bad. 'Cause a lot of beers are bad to me.
Yeah, beer's kind of gross. I'm not a beer drinker. I'm a wine drinker. Well, I'm a vodka drinker and a little bit of wine.
To say, if you're a wine drinker, you should stop by my house.
Ooh,
I just ain't been drinking them, and I've got five chilled in the fridge, in the door.
definitely need to come over and visit you.
Yeah. I don't think you're supposed to
What?
store them that way, but I didn't. I wanted them out of the cabinet, so I put them in the refrigerator. Which, I mean, you can keep them chilled all the time. I know that. So maybe you can store them that way. Gotta be ready for when that party pops off. Bring on the charcuterie boards and the wine.
I'll totally come over and help you drink them. I'll get plastered. We will drink all 5 bottles in one day, or I will drink all 5 bottles in one day. And we'll get those $25, $40 charcuterie boards and just be like, yeah, and do movies and
It's so
stuff.
hard to believe how popular those things have become.
They have become popular. Well, all thanks to TikTok.
I guess.
I know there was a bunch on TikTok. People wanting
We did that
charcuterie
for
boards.
Christmas. We made one. We tried a lot of new meats, and let me tell you something. I don't have a sophisticated palate apparently because I thought a lot of it was gross.
You got to be open to it. You got to pair it with the right rinds and pair it with the right cheeses and fruits.
Well, I
and
definitely tried everything, but I didn't like everything. That's for sure. I guess I just need 6 bologna and crackers because I forget what is that thing called? Prosciutto? Is that what it's called? That ham?
Yeah, prosciutto.
Oh my gosh, that was so gross.
Well, it's cured ham, slightly thinned. I think I haven't had any yet, but I think it depends on the flavor.
It was nice because I've never had a charcuterie board except if I went to an event or something maybe when I was in school, but they weren't big then. But Christmas, my brother-in-law he made it and it was so nice. He got all these different cheeses and olives and stuff like that. It was really nice. So I see their appeal, definitely.
Definitely have to go to that place in town and get some.
Yeah.
Though it seems like they only make a certain amount of them each day, and
They do unless you pre-order. What they sell is like what they extra made. I guess they do pretty good business.
Definitely gonna have to try it for sure.
Yeah.
But I think we can call it there for today.
Ooh. We ended on food. That's just great.
Death, food. That's how we roll.
That's it.
They go intertwined with each other.
I guess if you get a hold of the wrong food, it could cause death. But then you'd have to pick how you're going to be buried.
Exactly, and then food's brought around to help with death at funerals and stuff, or wakes or whatever. They're all hand in hand. If you want to hear us more talk about stuff and things and chatter on about different opportunities, you can follow us on Facebook page, the Butter Churn podcast. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can listen to our past episodes. And that is under Butter Toski. You can subscribe there and find us. You can also follow us on our socials, which mine is Butter Toski Twitter and Butters on Instagram, I believe, or Butter Toski on Instagram. What's yours?
Mine are anxietyelefant everywhere, I believe. And don't forget, you can support our podcast on Patreon.
Yes, you can support our Patreon you can support our podcast on Patreon. It is under the Butter Churn podcast. You can also listen to these episodes later on Spotify and on Buzzsprout. You can
Yeah.
listen to us on Buzzsprout as well. I've been Butters.
Anxiety Elephant.
And we would like to thank you for listening to it. And we'll see you next time. This has been the Butter Churn Podcast. Bye.
Bye.